Welcome back to Coffee Time with Peter Gomez on Monday, the 25th of August 2025, marking 20 years since we took over the running of this great institution known as West Coast Radio. Thank you all for your congratulatory messages. And our guest this morning is lawyer Ousainou Darboe, Secretary General and leader of the United Democratic Party, the biggest opposition party in this country. A survey just came out that doesn't flatter the UDP. It shows that, from whatever angle you look at it, the UDP is not in line to take over from Barrow in 2026. What do you make of the survey?
Well, Peter, I'm not a statistician. I'm not also a social scientist. I'm a lawyer, And of course, we've seen the survey, and I'm not sure whether what methodology was used in arriving at the conclusions. But let me say that I'm not dismissive of it.
You are not?
I'm not dismissive of it. I certainly have to bear it in mind. But one thing I know is that the UDP's grassroots is intact. I don't know what category of persons were interviewed, because that also could influence the conclusions. But I certainly will not be dismissive of it. And just to say that between now and December 2026 is a long time. Assuming they are correct, a lot of changes can and will happen before December 2026. We are not going to elections tomorrow. You have more than a year.
Sure.
And that is why I say I'm not dismissive of it, and I'm going to work. In fact, I'm going to put our party at a position worse than what they have shown, and work against that negativity and turn it into something positive. Okay. That is what we are.
So it's a motivation to.
It's a motivation to work harder. But Peter, you see, Hillary Clinton and Trump, all the polls put Hillary Clinton ahead of Trump.
Sure.
All the polls, all. But then, when they went to the polls, it was something different. And of course, that's also dependent on the type of sampling they did. And I cannot sit here and say that in 2027, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm not here to say, to really to be delusional. I know what is on the what is on the grassroots. Yeah. I know the level of the popularity of my party and my own personal popularity. To the extent that, Peter, I try to keep away from attending funerals. I probably live...
Because when you do, you become the center of attention rather than the actual funeral.
That's right. So I would go and pay my condolences maybe 2 or 3 days after the demise of the deceased. So we know really what is on the ground. And I cannot engage in self-deception. But I have respect for what they've done. And as I say, I'm not going to dismiss it. It in fact challenges me to do more. In fact, I have decided that, look, in fact, maybe we are even lower than this, and we are going to work hard. After all, in 2021, after December, everybody thought that UDP was dead. We investigated, and we replanned, and re-strategized. And that is why we came out with 16 seats. And in 2 of the constituencies, we know why we lost. It was self-confidence.
You didn't campaign as much as you should have.
No. We didn't go out to get the voters. Because the voters that we should have ferried to the polling station, we didn't do it. Because the candidates were just too confident. And that is not going to happen anymore in any of our elections. Yes.
What about the suggestion that you're still going ahead, to vie for the position of flag bearer, because you're afraid that if you were to stand aside and leave it to the young one, the party would disintegrate? You're saying that everybody thought that after 2021 the party was going to die out. I mean, is that what you are avoiding by, offering yourself as flag bearer again?
No, Peter, I'm not in this for personal ambition. If I was in it for personal ambition, I would have walked away.
No, it's not wanting the party to die, that you're the only unifying.
No. If I'm not only unifying, the
unifying force.
Figure.
Yeah, figure. Person.
I'm not the only unifying figure. I am one of the unifying figures. Yeah. But then the party membership have a lot of confidence in me, and they realize that Hussein Darboe is not in this for personal ambition. Otherwise, what I endured in prisons, the humiliations that have been meted out to me, the stress that my family have been subjected to, I could have said, look, it's not worth it. But if I did that, then the day I took up leadership in 1996, I would have betrayed the people then. Then my joining the fray in 1996 will be falsified if I pay attention to what is really happening to my family, the humiliation that I've been going through. Then I will not be true to the people. We have started a job, I've started a mission. And one of the things that I wanted was to see Jammeh out. So the mission is half accomplished. It's now to see a good government in place, during which period continue to mentor the younger members of the party and ultimately hand over. I have always told them that, look, I have the baton, I'm looking behind me, and I don't want that baton to drop. It has to be handed over, and it will be handed over. So I am running again because I'm paying particular heed to those members of the party who were the founders. They want, because their legacy is tied to my legacy. Someone like the former Deputy Speaker, Alai Mahmoud El-Kesani, Kemesen Jammeh. Their legacies are inextricably tied to my own legacy. If I do not leave a good legacy, if I have my legacy destroyed, then they have no legacy present. And they want to maintain their legacy, and they want me to run. And honestly, if the UDP feels that I should not really run, I will gracefully bow out. But the call is for me to run, and it is not a stage-managed call. I have never stage-managed anything in my political career. Things come on spontaneously. Yeah, never.
The call, is it coming only from, the older members of the party?
In fact, it's coming. Look, I'm sorry, I'll mention this. Ismail Fadera is one of the young, brilliant Gambians. He and his ilk have formed the student union wing of the party. Never in the history of any political party in this country. NPP was just copying from us. These are young people.
Whatever you do, the NPP copies.
Yes.
Oh.
You can't.
Then you understand why people call you 6 and 9.
No. When they say 6 and 9, they do not say that they are copying from us, but it's virtuous. They're not saying that. What they are saying is that we are as bad as they are, which I think is an insult. That is what. When they say 6 and 9, it is negative.
Alhaji Hussein is saying that the UDP and the NPP are not 6 and 9.
Are not 6 and 9. We cannot be 6 and 9. Certainly we cannot be 6 and 9. But I'm saying that you have in that student union several hundreds of people, young people, who are there, and they want me to lead this country, to lead this party. Not to talk of the younger people in the rural areas, all over the country. Not to talk of the women, young girls, a lot of who are the ones, in fact, who have made this name Baba Hussein to stick. They are the ones. Oh. They are the young, the TikTokers. They are the ones who made this name Baba Hussein to stick. They are behind me, and I do not go out to manipulate, these things. They come on spontaneously, and alhamdulillah, I want to see, my successors also enjoy the same degree of respect, the same degree of acceptability as I have with the rest of the party.
Your main competitor in 2026, who is the incumbent, is so confident of victory that, he's looking forward to winning by nothing less than 75% of the total votes cast.
Wishful thinking. Good. I think they say dream and dream big. Eh?
Oh, it's only a dream.
Isn't that what they say? Dream and dream big. How many people have?
So he's in slumberland.
How many people have sat here in this and tell you that? Look, next government, my party is going to form the next government. How many people have done that here? So Adama Barrow knows the threat. And certainly, that is why they are telling people, no, let Hussein Darboe contest. Let him contest because we are going to defeat him. Because they know how much Gambians respect me. Even those who do not belong to our party respect me, respect my character. And certainly, a lot of those people will not change me for Barrow. Look, recently we have had cross capitals from Sane Mentoring. A very key figure in the NPP APRC alliance. Key figure. And that has shaken them. And we continue to have cross capitals. Now, what I have told people that we are not going to publicize the people who cross capital, because when they do, they go with inducements. Oh yes, go after them with inducements
and win them back
and pacify them. So I said we are no longer going to publicize those who have decided to cross capitals. So if President Barrow says he's winning 75%, he's daydreaming. Who in his right mind will vote from President Barrow, who has not cared for the people, who thinks that, the only development in a country is roads. I mean, that myopic thinking. You should think beyond roads. You want to think about the quality of education in our schools. You go to, Banjul, Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital. The other day I went there and I was embarrassed.
By what?
People, you see people lying on the floor, on mattresses on the floor. And I was really embarrassed that this could happen in present-day Gambia. Invest in our healthcare system. The accident unit. You go there, you hardly distinguish the doctor from the patients. And those kids, and I'm praising those kids because they are young nurses and so forth, they are working under extremely difficult conditions. What they need for their job is not available. The infrastructure is very limited, the space.
Infrastructure-wise, there's great refurbishment work taking place on the building. They speak about, the oxygen setup in the hospital being a lot better than we ever had, with every ward being fitted with pipes to supply oxygen.
Refurbishment and expansion are not the same.
Or the hospital needs to be expanded.
Why would you have people lying on the floor? You don't need to have people lying on the floor. And I think the trauma, the accident and trauma unit, I think they really need good support. I have always advocated that those people involved, in this reckless driving, some of them, when they are fined, I think maybe, if not 50%, but at least 25% of those fines should be given to the Minister of Health, so that they apply it to take care of those people who get involved in accident. The road tax, road tax, I don't know whether they call it road tax, whatever I call it, part of that should be given to the Minister of Health. Because all the accidents that take place on these roads, they end up in their hospitals. So this should really be a ministry that should be well funded. So that all these problems, they can take care of them.
There are so many messages, hopefully questions coming in for you. I'll probably just end on this one. Every new government that comes in always finds, or at least they announce, surprises. When the coalition government came in, they said that, they were surprised to find that literally there was nothing left by way of funds by the previous government led by, the former dictator Yahya Jammeh. In Senegal, for instance, every day we hear what the Pastef government is discovering about the level of debt Macky Sall reportedly left behind, which was way below what the reality is. What surprises do you think await the UDP if it ever comes to power, in the Gambia, left behind by the Barrow administration?
Look, Peter, I don't want to go into government with any prejudice. I want to go there with an open mind.
Okay.
And then, whatever I find out there, then I'll say, well, this is what we have found. But I don't want to go there and say, look, we are going to find the situation, the state of our book balance is in a horrible situation. We are going to find this hidden, that hidden. That will be approaching the things with prejudice. And I probably would then try to, manufacture, facts in order to satisfy the prejudice in which I brought with me. So we are going there with open mind, although currently we talk about the level of the country's indebtedness. We talk about that. We've been talking about the lack of transparency in some of the dealings of the government. like, the Gambia Ports Authority issue. We've been talking about that. So if we go there and find anything that is concerning to me, we will tell you, but we have already told you that. And other institutions will, of course, have to look at the various agreements and see, are they really for the benefit of the Gambian people? Mm-hmm. If they are not, our partners, they certainly want to do good business with the Gambia. They do not want to take advantage of us. So, if there's need to review anything, we'll do so.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And I said that was going to be my final question. We expect, parties in opposition to criticize, but there must be something positive to say about the Barrow government, if there is, for Alhaji Ousainou Darboe. What would that be? What have they got right?
Well, what they have got right, sadly I have stated, Professor Pierre Gomez, I think he's doing good work.
Okay.
I appreciate him, and I want to encourage him to continue. And I also hope that in future, any government that comes in will take advantage of his professionalism and use him.
You would have no problem if you were president to keep him as higher education minister.
Even if I don't keep him as higher education minister, but we'll certainly utilize his knowledge, utilize his vision. But why should we treat people at arm's length because they do not belong to the same party with me? And I do not believe that Professor Gomez was taken in, appointed as a minister, because he belonged to any political party. I think it was his professionalism that must have influenced President Barrow. That is what I believe. It's not like Ahmad Ba.
It's unlike Ahmad Ba.
It's unlike Ahmad Ba. It's because of his the political position, the eminent political position he holds in this country, and that may be about one or two others. But for Professor Gomez, being taken from the academia and appointed minister, I think it must be his professional competence and his foresight in things. And I hope that others, ministers, will also toe the same line as Professor Gomez did. Do things for the good of the country and let the government take the credit for it.
All right. Alhaji Ousainou Darboe, thank you very much for staying all this time with us. We'll do, I can't do all the questions and comments that have come in. Thank you for all your congratulatory messages. 20 years today, 25th of August 2025, since we took over the running of West Coast Radio, completely transforming it from what it was originally. Good morning, Mr. Gomez. First question coming in from Keba Cham. During his interview on your most popular Gambian radio program, ex-soldier Abdoulaye Sanyang claimed acquaintances with Honorable Ousainou Darboe, seriously cautioning him about the potential of being betrayed by his son, President Barrow. Can your guest verify these allegations by Sanyang, who now stands trial over various allegations, including arson, coup plots, assassination attempts, etc., etc.? Did you know Abdoulaye Sanyang?
Well, I certainly, first time I saw him was on this program, and I don't think the person who put that question, I don't think Mr. Sanyang claimed any acquaintance with me. What did he say? That he came to my office, which I do not recollect. Which I do not recollect at all. For him coming to my office to warn me that Barrow was about to betray me, I do not have any recollection of that at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on. Good morning, Uncle Peter. Kindly ask Mr. Darboe if he's considering UDP when Darboe is no more. Because from my understanding, many of the UDP supporters are Darboe loyalists, not UDP. So I believe UDP will easily turn to be APRC without Jammeh. I think now is the right time for him to step aside and give the young ones the chance. I am not voting Barrow, but I am not voting for Darboe either. So I'm yet to decide. But I don't want the NPP to win. So I believe Darboe can help us with that by stepping aside.
Well, if he says that if I'm no more, UDP will be no more, even if I step aside, then it will be about the same thing. Then UDP will no longer be there. So I think this perception or this belief that UDP is Darboe and Darboe is UDP is false. And these sort of statements come from my detractors who pretend to be supporters of UDP and trying to project situations that is prevailing within the UDP. Is absolutely false. Yeah? UDP, as I've always said, we are bound together by ideas and ideals, not by personalities. Because I am very, very cognizant of that. I have repeatedly said that I am transient, so that things cannot revolve around me. I have always maintained that. Look, if UDP was revolving again around Hussein Darboe, the period that we were away in prison for 8 months, the party went through hell. It would have disintegrated because Hussein Darboe was not there. But because of the ideas that bonded us together, the party survives and continues to survive and will survive even if I'm dead or whenever I step aside. So I think if he really doesn't want NPP to win, he should vote for any candidate that UDP selects. Otherwise, I would know that he is certainly not interested in the salvation of this country.
On the issue of the NPP losing the elections, a lot of people believe that UDP alone cannot do it. It will take a coalition. UDP has to go into partnership, alliance with smaller parties in opposition in order to really bring about the change it has sought to bring about since 1996. Is the UDP working towards, for want of a better expression, a grand opposition coalition?
Well, I don't want to use the word grand because that is what they use.
That's why I said so.
But Peter, we have always supported a united front, and we will continue to support a united front. Maybe there are engagements about a coalition. I don't want to say more than that. But we will work with any party. We are willing to work with any party, and probably, we'll be reaching out to parties. You see, the 2026 or the 2021 National Assembly elections, mayoral elections, and even the presidential elections, UDP did it against Adama Barrow and his 20 allies, individuals and parties. The National Assembly elections, we did it. Although the presidential election, we got the endorsement, and we're very grateful for that, of my big brother, Honorable Bibi Darboe. We got his endorsement, and for us, that was something great. A man of his stature, having regard to his political experience, his intellectualism, his probity, the standards that he set for himself and which he wanted to set for this nation, whilst minister as vice president, to get that endorsement was really a big feat. But the National Assembly election, we did it alone against Barrow and all his people. How many seats did they get more than UDP? At the polls, 3. And then added his 5 nominated members to it. In the mayoral election, the hotly contested areas, Banjul, KM, and West Coast, he himself went out to be the campaign manager for all his candidates. And we were alone. UDP was alone. With all his grand alliance, we defeated them. And he can come and tell people that 75%, going to win 75%. Even if our support base in these regions erodes, it will not be more than 5%. and we'll still be ahead of him. Yeah.
Fantastic. Hello, Peter. Please tell Mr. Darboe that he is too old. Let him step down for younger ones. This issue of age, I think it's more a question of how do you feel health-wise? Do you feel healthy?
Well,
do you feel capable of going through, an election campaign, a rigorous election campaign?
Well, Peter, I wish I knew the age of this questionnaire.
There's no way of telling.
And then I invite him to join me on the campaign trail and let him see. Anyway, the younger members of the UDP know how strong Hussein Darboe is. They marvel to see how I could go all through all these rough rough things during the campaign period. They marvel at it. But Peter, leadership is not about age. Leadership is about devotion, about the commitment, about vision. I do not think anybody in his rightful mind, or those people like this questionnaire, appears to be an educated person because he sent a text message. I don't think educated people vote on age. I think they vote for programs and policies. Unless this gentleman tells me that he doesn't care about programs and policies. What he cares about is age, which I think will really be disastrous. If you prefer age over programs, that is disastrous. But you see, Peter, age is not a liability. For me, age is wisdom. It is commitment. It is resilience. The character that was in me in my younger years, since 1996, in fact, I have strengthened that character. Not to be corrupted. Not to give in to sentiments. Not to misuse state resources. I have told you what I have done, what I have avoided doing. That is what you expect in a leader. Look, Liberia, current president of Liberia, he was elected at age 78.
An age you haven't reached yet.
And which haven't against an incumbent president much younger than him. Look, Peter, if age was a determining factor, I wouldn't have people like Ismail Fadera going about organizing student union wing. I wouldn't have people like Haji Swane. I wouldn't have them. You see, age is relatability. Do I relate to the 25-year-old in this country? Do I know, am I alive and conscious of their demands? Am I being consistent? And I think sometimes these young people, you see, consistent. I am the most consistent politician in this country. And I'm consistent on principles. So the gentleman who is talking about age, let him debate with himself whether he'll be voting for age or he'll be voting for programs and policies.
Good morning, Uncle Peter and Baba. I look at the recent survey as a positive step for UDP. Number one, the survey included 3 UDP members who will all not be candidates on their own. Only one of them will represent UDP, in fact. Number two, most of the people who chose Talib, Yanks, and Darboe during the survey are UDP or UDP sympathizers. So at the end of the day, they will all support anyone UDP chooses. And 3, I believe the survey should be between Darboe, Barrow, Fall, and Kande. I'm not sure what number 3 is all about. But on the first 2 issues, the survey included 3 UDP members who will all not be candidates on their own, meaning they would need the support of the UDP, and only one of them, according to the texter, will represent UDP. So has UDP determined already who will be, the National Assembly representatives in, 20 2017 or 2018?
National Assembly representatives?
Yes, in candidate, I should say.
No, National Assembly candidates.
Yeah.
Well, we have not determined that yet because we have not reached that stage yet.
Okay.
You know.
So maybe there's nothing to say about that.
Yeah.
Point number 2, most of the people who chose Talib Yanks and Darboe during the survey are UDP or UDP sympathizers. So the conclusion is, at the end of the day, whichever one is chosen, they will vote for the person.
That is a valid assumption. It's a very valid assumption.
Okay. Okay. Obviously, this is somebody who supports the party. May Allah give us all long life, good health to witness 2026 election. Yeah, let's go to another one. Yeah. The station is competing you this morning. You know.
Well, congratulations. Yes, and it should really.
It's competing you this morning. Greetings, Uncle Peter and the Honorable A.N.M. Darboe. I am appealing to Mr. Darboe to seek a unified coalition support from other political parties. If we want a change, without that support, it will be another easy victory for Barrow. And this is from Alex Badunyang, who then goes on to say, congratulations on your milestone achievement. Again, the question of coalition being the only way out.
Yes, I think I've dealt with that. Probably, if he was listening, he would have heard my response to that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, I've kept you here far longer than I promised I was going to. All right. Yeah. Thank you very much for your willingness to come to the program. I didn't have to talk myself hoarse or be calling and calling for you to accept our invitation. Once I made the call, you immediately offered yourself, and it's a great honor and privilege to have you. And I should say, you also came with Silafando, which you don't want me to, to divulge.
I certainly don't want that.
Just finally, how would you like to conclude this long conversation?
Well, again, to reiterate my congratulations and joining your several listeners in congratulating you, West Coast, and we hope that you'll continue to have as many educative and informative programs. Like yesterday, I was listening to those two young
the National Youth Parliament,
Jabu Sisao and Mr. Ba from Amadou Ba.
That's my constituency, by the way.
Yes, and I was so impressed with them.
By the way, let me say, this is the Penchami program, which is out on the other radio station, 95.3, the other channel, I should say, one radio station, 2 channels, sponsored by APS. We are so grateful, yes.
So that program and this one shows how informative and educative your media has been, and we hope that it will continue in that way, and that differing, divergent opinions will be expressed here. Some of them one would appreciate, others will find distasteful, but I know that as seasoned journalists, you should know how to handle those situations. But having said that, we are approaching the political season, and it is our responsibility to make sure that we de-escalate any tensions. As I said, these 2 lines in our national anthem, and join our diverse people to prove man's brotherhood, I think we should really have that written, put on our desks. Even in our cars, put a small flag, have it there. See, Peter, we cannot allow polarizing agents to destabilize this country. We should not in any way allow tribalism to take center stage in our body politics. It has never happened in this country in the way it is now happening. And it is a pity that those who are expected to speak against tribalism are themselves the principal proponents the principal advocates of this terrible and toxic thing. We must, for us, Gambia is first. You see, your big brother, Edward Gomez, you know,
former Attorney General and Minister of Justice.
I mean, very amiable person, you know, I mean, full of wisdom. Each time we meet, we speak in Mandinka, speaks fluent Mandinka, and I tell him, look, Honorable Minister, you see, there are two places that you look for me, on the surface of the Gambian soil or underneath. I have nowhere to go to. I will never go into exile. I had the opportunity when trumped-up charges of murder was leveled against me. When we doubted the independence of the judiciary, I stayed here to defend myself. So Gambia is what I have. The peace and tranquility in this country is what I cherish, and that is what I advocate for. We can have differing views, but in expressing those differing views, we should do it with respect and decorum. There is no need to caricature anybody. There is no need to pretend that I do not know Peter Gomez's name and try to say, well, I don't know how they call him. I think it's demeaning. We are all in this politics. And Africa, one thing we know, particularly in the Gambia, elders are respected. Whatever may be your political views on anything, but when dealing with others, other politicians, please have regard to their age. That is what we know in this country. You don't have to be, sarcastic. Of course, policies that I talk about, tear them, point them, show that they are worth nothing. But you also do that with respect. And that is what should be our approach as we approach 2026. And we don't want 2026 to be a year of violence. It must be the year of peaceful transition from this horrible government to a more representative and acceptable government. And tribe, let us forget about tribalism. And let us also give due respect to all other faiths in this country. And let us have at the back of our minds that in this country, the Christians and the Muslims, particularly in the urban areas, they are so related in blood that you cannot really try to provide any wedge between them. And these, our religious leaders, they know better than I do that people who don't belong to the Muslim faith, they are not necessarily idol worshippers. They call them people of the book. So, to that extent, we should be cautious how we address them. And this, not the elderly clerics, they are very cognizant of this. But some of the younger ustads, the way they preach, the way they make references to others who do not belong to the Islamic faith, it's really not acceptable. Yeah? And for us, UDP, Gambia is first and nothing else. And what will really disintegrate this country will never pay any support to that. I have always said, in fact, I still said that it's more than 10 years that Gambia without Fuller is not Gambia. A Gambia without Manjagos is not a Gambia. A Gambia without the Sarahules, without the Wolofs, without the Mandinkas, without the Mankan, without the Sierra, is not Gambia. It is the aggregate of these people that make us Gambians. And we have to accept and realize that. So I appeal to, I'm advising myself and appealing to all others that this issue of tribe, we should really put in the dustbin, because the consequences that it can lead to can be very disastrous and can be very regrettable. Having said that, Peter, thank you very much for hosting me, and hopefully this incoherent advice that I'm giving, appeal that I'm making, hopefully it will fall on receptive ears. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's Alhaji Usainu Darboe, Secretary General and leader of the United Democratic Party, the main opposition party in this country. Thank you for watching.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Excellent jam, Suway. Yo, apply. Yo, luta to dede. Luta mo nulo jel mo to nga andil mahalis. Hello? Bisul mo fine. What? Bisul mo fine. Oh. Yes! Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Bisul mo fine? Wave. Your money is yours.